Hello and welcome back. In this BlackexCellist presentation, we will highlight our BE20, our annual list of the most influential African Americans for 2020.
Welcome to blackexcellist.com, the site where we share Black excellence, opulence, and affluence. Our mission is to inspire you as we enlighten you.
Producing our BE20 is our way of honoring the innovators, the leaders, the public figures, and the game changers, whose work from the past year included breaking down barriers and paving the way for the next generation. This year's list of honorees is a reminder of the beauty of Blackness and the brilliance of Black excellence at a time when the political and cultural landscape has grown even more hostile to the idea of Black achievement. In this original BlackexCellist video, we will be featuring the BE20, the most influential African Americans in 2020. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 11, Jamie Harrison. We applaud Jamie Harrison for taking the bold step of running against Republican Senator Lindsey Graham for his South Carolina seat in the U.S. Senate. His year-long campaign and ambitious run came up short, but his courage and tenacity helped him rise up the ranks of the Democratic Party and has placed him in the national spotlight. In 2020, Harrison put his money where his mouth is, and so did his supporters from both his home state and across all of the states. And although he was unable to become the first Democrat-elected senator from South Carolina in over 20 years, Harrison still became the best-funded U.S. Senate candidate in history, raising more than $132 million for the entire 2020 election cycle. His ability to pose an incredibly strong challenge to his Republican opponents. Utilizing his newly minted status as a fundraising powerhouse, Harrison just recently launched a political action committee called Dirt Road PAC, which will focus on long-term investments in state-level Democratic candidates and local voter registrations in Republican strongholds that he hopes he can help flip from red to blue. There are even rumors floating around that he is the front-runner to become chair of the Democratic National Committee. We shall see, but there is no doubt that Harrison has a bright future ahead of him in politics. Number 12, Nikole Hannah-Jones. Nikole Hannah-Jones is the wildest dream fulfilled of the Black female journalists who wrote the truth of their times before her. This year, the New York Times Magazine reporter and six-time the Route 100 honoree earned crowning recognitions for her editorial brainchild, The 1619 Project, which recontextualized the Black American story, starting with the arrival of the first enslaved Africans. She was awarded the ultra-prestigious 2020 Pulitzer Prize for commentary, an achievement in and of itself, but the Pulitzer Center also became an official education partner for the 1619 Project and helped to dispatch an entire curriculum based on Hannah-Jones' brilliant work to more than 4,500 classrooms nationwide. This completely pissed off the current resident of the White House and his ineffectual right-wing chumps. But you know you're making good trouble when politicians are big mad. Hannah-Jones is changing how history is taught, and this year, after helping to reignite the discussion about reparations and racial justice for Black Americans, she's reframing what the future looks like too. Number 13, DJ D-Nice. D-Nice is the entertainment MVP of 2020. The Bronx, New York native, whose name is Derek Jones, cut his teeth in the emerging hip-hop world of the mid-1980s as an up-and-coming rapper. Over the decades, he evolved and rebranded himself as a celebrity DJ and even performed the honors for Barack Obama's 2012 inauguration. In addition to traveling the world over DJing at bottle service clubs, he has even earned a reputation as a celebrity photographer and has shot portraits of Idris Elba, Tyra Banks, John Legend, and many more. But the quarantine changed all of that in March 2020. With the world screeching to a halt due to COVID-19, the loneliness, anxiety, and solitude of sheltering in place was a bit terrifying. Most of us were alone in the house, shut off from family and friends, without the regular forms of entertainment that included weekend nightlife and socializing. But then, D-Nice to the rescue. D-Nice jumped on Instagram Live, and what first started off as a hip-hop interview series with some of his celebrity friends trends quickly evolved into Club Quarantine, where D-Nice would simply set the camera on his turntables in his kitchen and rock through the night. The concept caught fire, and soon hundreds and then thousands of spectators were on his IG Live, socially distanced but culturally connected. His Friday night sets and virtual dance parties were visited by the likes of Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Joe Biden, Rihanna, Will Smith, and even Mark Zuckerberg, and countless other virtual celebrities who would swing through for an hour or two. Going from a lifestyle of steady gigs to nearly shutting down Instagram Live with a record-breaking audience of 100,000 partygoers seems like it might be the ultimate goal for an artist like D-Nice, setting him up for a future of stadium tours and big-name collaborations. Instead, Club Quarantine has ignited more intimate visions for him. D-Nice sees the future of his club as a show that he takes on the road, playing at outdoor amphitheaters where friends and family can come together to dance, experience the music played live, and connect. But when tens of millions of people were locked down and many predicting doomsday scenarios, with the help of technology, D-Nice was able to find a way to bring people together in a way that was impossible to do in a physical club. That was refreshing and truly inspirational during a time we needed it the most. Number 14, Verzuz, hosted by Swizz Beatz and Timbaland. D-Nice's Club Quarantine spawned a handful of musical Instagram live shows after it, but none as big and anticipated as the Verzuz phenomenon. What started out as an impromptu Instagram live battle between Swizz Beatz and producer Timbaland, where each contender takes turns playing one of the hottest songs that they produced, written, or performed on throughout their musical career, has morphed itself into a corporate-sponsored broadcast that has taken the internet by storm. The series has now taken on the form of an official trademarked brand, adopting a logo and official social media accounts. But it still fits into the original format where two icons, predominantly R&B or hip-hop, highlight their discographies in two 10-song rounds during a 3-hour session. In August 2020, after a bidding war, the digital Instagram series began a partnership with streaming service Apple Music and social media platform Twitter, while sealing a deal with Ciroc as the official adult beverage of the celebration. Speaking on the newfound popularity of the live streaming virtual battle, Swizzy proclaimed, "The people won, the culture won, music won." And the artists definitely are winning because their music sales and online streams skyrocket immediately after each battle due to newfound interest and curiosity around the two Verzuz artists. Although no official winners are selected or announced, Billboard magazine has released scorecards and breakdowns of the battles and selected winners based on their own observations. Timbaland, Swizz Beatz, and D-Nice were awarded BET's 2020 Shine a Light Award in recognition of exceptional resilience, ingenuity, and creativity in the face of adversity. During a time when a global pandemic has rearranged how the business world is doing business, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland are leading the vanguard. Number 15, Ibram X Kendi. Explosive uprisings across the country have demanded not only justice for Black people, but also structural changes to protect us, and Ibram X Kendi's anti-racist work has been fundamental to dismantling the intricacies of systemic racism. After founding the Anti-Racist Research and Policy Center at American University and leading it for 3 years, the Guggenheim Fellow, contributing writer for the Atlantic and National Book Award winner, moved to Boston University in July to launch its Center for Anti-Racist Research, focusing also on developing a COVID racial data tracker to monitor the virus's impact on Black and Brown communities. Kendi's New York Times bestseller, How to Be an Anti-Racist, is now required American reading. His 2020 TED Talk has racked up more than 1.4 million views, and he released the Anti-Racist Baby Picture book to give little ones a head start on the acceptance of others and their humanity. In this time of prescriptive change, it seems that people are listening. Kendi is included in Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2020. Number 16, Jason Wright. Among the many positive changes made by the NFL team formerly known as the Washington Redskins, in mid-August it was announced that former NFL running back Jason Wright would be the new president of the soon-to-be renamed Washington football team. The history-making appointment makes him the first black president in the league's history, taking on the role at perhaps the most challenging era of the team's history. According to ESPN, Wright will be overseeing the business side in the areas of operations, marketing, sales, and finance. This new venture will no doubt put good use to his passion for football and business. Wright was once a football player at Northwestern University, but he also earned an MBA degree from the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. He will also leverage the skills he learned during his time partnering with the management consulting firm McKinsey & Company, where Wright co-led the global inclusion strategy and spearheaded global outreach for executives of color. Number 17, Stacy Abrams. Georgia, a once reliable Republican stronghold, would for the first time since 1992 vote for a Democratic president. And all credit ultimately goes to the voters of Georgia. But Stacy Abrams and her allies do deserve a large amount of praise for galvanizing a new legion of Black voters, Latino and Asian voters, young voters, and first-time voters who are helping form a new South. After losing her bid to become governor of Georgia by a razor-thin margin that was mostly due to voter suppression, Stacy did not let up. She never considered it a defeat and was determined to show what Georgia really could be. She got to work and launched Fair Fight, an organization that encourages voter participation and fights voter suppression. Her influence, skills, wit, intellect, and determination helped the organization register more than 800,000 first-time voters over the past 2 years. Although she received an avalanche of tributes that poured in for her efforts, she's quick to point out that there were many other Black women who have long been involved in the Democratic voter registration and motivation efforts in Georgia. And although the state did go to Biden, she admits that there is still a lot of work to do since the 2020 record turnout, in her words, did not diminish the existence of suppression, but it challenged it. Number 18, Megan Thee Stallion. 2020 has been a traumatic and transformative year for Megan Jovan Ruth Pete, known professionally as Megan Thee Stallion. The Houston rapper first garnered attention with videos of her freestyling became popular on social media platforms such as Instagram. Since last year, with the release of her mixtape Fever, when she established herself as Hot Girl Meg, she has been refreshingly fun, powerfully sexy, and on a mission to inspire a legion of fans called the Hotties, who have recited her catchphrases and adopted her nicknames for themselves. Furthermore, fans have enthusiastically taken part in her coup of the music industry by streaming Megan's songs hundreds of millions of times, leading them to become just as flagrantly confident as she is. Her 2020 takeover started in March when she released the song Savage, which became a monster hit on TikTok, basically ensuring that by the time Megan dropped the remix with Beyonce, it was destined to be the biggest track of 2020. She followed up with another 2020 chart topper with her feature on Cardi B's single WAP, which hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 without breaking a sweat. But the acronym and its explicit lyrics to match also set off an expected loud freakout amongst the conservatives, but some unexpected critics from within the hip-hop community. She's closing out the year by dropping her first official full-length album called Good News. It opens with Shots Fired, in which Meg bluntly addresses the July shooting that led to bullet wounds in her feet and the arrest of rapper Tory Lanez. She's a cultural powerhouse, perfectly pitched for the moment. Even a pandemic couldn't stop her. If anything, it was an accelerant. Throughout a very short career, Megan Thee Stallion has received several accolades, including 2 BET Awards, 5 BET Hip Hop Awards, 2 MTV Video Music Awards, a Billboard Women in Music Award, and 4 nominations at the Grammy Awards. In 2020, Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world on their annual list. But probably more important to Meg than any of these accolades is the fact that Barack Obama added her Savage remix to his 2020 playlist. Number 19, Billy Porter. Billy Porter, award winner and fashion icon, was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he learned about the power of musical theater. Porter turned to the arts as a reprieve from the trauma and abuse he suffered at home. After attending the Pittsburgh Creative and Performing Arts School, he studied drama on scholarship at Carnegie Mellon, even though he believed his path was intended elsewhere. In 2000, Porter moved to Los Angeles, where he attended a screenwriting program at UCLA with the hopes of going into writing and directing. He later returned to New York. After nearly 3 decades as a professional actor in the theater world, Porter has emerged as a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood, both on the big screen and walking down the red carpet. In late 2019, Porter made history when he became the first openly gay black man to win an Emmy for lead actor in a drama series for his performance as Pray Tell on FX's Pose. For the same role, Porter also earned a nod at the 2020 Golden Globes when he was nominated for Best Actor in a TV series drama. Porter is included in Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2020. For those who feel like they may be an outcast or don't fit in, Porter has proven that being different can be an asset. He is a living embodiment of talent, perseverance, and resilience that will find another route when the front door, back door, and windows are shut. Porter was able to help the LGBTQ community find its own voice during the George Floyd protests for equality and justice. Number 20, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has always been a trailblazer. She broke barriers in California, made history in the U.S. Senate, and now she's the first Black woman and first Indian American to be Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala's ascension is the realization of a dream that so many have struggled for so long to make possible. She was raised by a strong woman rooted in community to be a strong woman rooted in community. The California Senator's history-making win also represents the millions of women in the demographics, often overlooked, historically underrepresented, and systematically ignored, who are now the recipients of that new power for the first time in the country's 200-plus-year history. Often in her Converse sneakers, the former prosecutor made space for women of color to tell their lived experiences during campaign events on the trail. In a moment when our communities are facing overlapping crises of public health,